Another couple of midfielders, though. James Maddison. What's going on with this one? It's an interesting one. Obviously, Leicester dropping down to the Championship. We know there's been a lot of interest in Maddison for a while, and big money previously for him. Can they demand that same sort of money, do you think, now?
I think they want to demand that kind of money. It's not going to help them that they're in the Championship, because buying clubs will realise that maybe Leicester City might need to sell, particularly because Maddison's only got a year left on his contract. It's clear, look, as clear as you can be, that he's not going to be playing in the Championship with Leicester City. He will probably get the move that he does want. As you mentioned, plenty of interest, not least from Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur. With regard to Tottenham, few developments today. There are discussions ongoing internally, we believe, about whether they want to formalise that interest in James Maddison and also his Leicester City teammate Harvey Barnes, and formally bid for those two players. Club sources have told us that no official bids have actually been made just yet. There were a few reports earlier on today that Tottenham have actually gone in. Our information is that there's no official bids, but definitely there is interest. James Maddison will be one of the talking points, I think, in this transfer window. Newcastle United, we know, have got a long-standing interest. They've had bids rejected in the past. Expect them to go back in as well. James Maddison will then have a choice to make. If both of these clubs do go for him, you've got Newcastle United, who've got Champions League football, remember, or go to Tottenham Hotspur and, be part of Ange Postecoglou's revolution at Tottenham, trying to make them a great side again and try and get them qualified into Europe again. So you won't have shortage of offers. It'll be a big decision to make for him.
Yeah, certainly will. And actually, this is the issue with players like James Maddison and others, where they have a choice of maybe Newcastle or a Chelsea or a Tottenham, is, am I signing up to a project that in 2 or 3 years will be back where I want to be? I'm happy to dip down for a year or two. Or do you go to a finished product? Not quite finished, but Newcastle are well on their way, aren't they?
Well, I think it's not just that as well. It's the conversations you're going to have with the head coach and the hierarchy. It's, where do I fit in? Am I going to be a star? Am I going to be a guaranteed starter? Am I going to be the guy you build your midfield or your attacking sort of prowess around? Or am I going to have to come in and go, actually, now I'm going for a club that's potentially playing in Europe or in the Champions League? Where do I fit in? Because we've all talked about for a while, haven't we, how good James Maddison is and how cusp of international breakthroughs and that kind of thing. I'm sure the next move he wants is to show at a big club what he can do week in, week out on the biggest stage of all. Well, if he's sitting on the bench or if he's got lots of players playing for the same position, he might not be able to show that. So I think it's about a project, definitely, but also just having the right place to showcase his talent at that next level.
Someone that could rival him, if he was to move to Newcastle, potentially, Nicola Barella.
Oh, I can talk about Nicola Barella all day if you really want me to.
You've got a couple of minutes.
Fantastic player at Inter. And it's interesting, we reported last night that Newcastle have tried to start talks with Inter about a £50 million move for Barella, who was excellent, obviously, in their run to the Champions League final. Excellent in their Euro success for Italy.
But it's quite cheap, doesn't it?
Well, that's the interesting thing. The noises come out of Inter today, especially if you speak to our colleagues at Sky in Italy and sort of read the Italian press today, as you think £50 million is going to do this deal? Absolutely not. Some people saying he's unsellable because he's that important to the club. Others saying you're looking at more like 80, 90 million euros. So, 70, 80 million pounds, because he is that important to them and that's where they want to go. Plus, they're going to lose a couple of key players this summer anyway, in terms of probably Romelu Lukaku will leave the club, and obviously losing Milan Skriniar as well. So that leaves wage bill sort of at least there at the club, so they've got a little bit more budgetary room.
So they're not in a position where they need to sell?
I mean, they've been in this position where they've needed to sell some senior players for a while in terms of their investment structure and that kind of thing, but at the same time, he's too important for them to be seen to sell on the cheap. He's loved by the fans, he's loved by the head coach Inzaghi as well, so £50 million at this stage would be very surprising if that deal gets done for that much.
OK, we'll stop you there, Anton.